am a promoter. That is what I do.
And I'm Elvis Presley. That's what I do.
Well, Mr. Bindle has really gotten inside your head with all of his hippie friends. There was a sign flashing applaud, telling them when to clap for you. This entire jamboree is an embarrassment. No, you will be sued for breach of contract because I will no longer be the promoter of your career. I will have to leave you. As I recall, Dr. King said rock and roll music contributed to juvenile delinquency.
It would be wrong, it would be self-defense. We must not permit men that are filled with hatred.
We're pretty set for the number tomorrow, buddy. It's pretty familiar territory, right?
Mr. Bindle, you and I are on the same page at last.
Bring up the lights on the side.
Okay, yeah.
We're trapped in a world that's troubled with pain right now. Let it come true right now.
Yeah, need a statement.
Yay.
Yeah.
But some people were putting ideas into his head that he didn't need me no more.
Back in the day when you could smoke in your room.
Right? My goodness.
You came through like you always do. Nobody can sell a show to an audience like you. I admit it. I was wrong.
I think we need to go our separate ways.
Ting ting.
Worried that the financial risk would put a strain on your daddy. The brand new International Hotel. So they will cover all of the costs of putting together your show. And you just play here for 6 weeks, and then off you go.
Snowman strikes again.
Oh,
Oh, Priscilla was afraid of that. He's got the chuckles on.
Stop the actor.
Oh, jeez.
It's great to have him still sing that song.
Okay.
And lead off with it.
I tell you, if I was you, I would book him for 100 years.
Oh, trying to keep him longer than 6 weeks.
Oh, so this man over here, I wouldn't be here without my manager of many years, Colonel Sanders. It's Parker.
5 years.
5 years.
What are you going to pay me?
Oh, boy.
Wow.
Oh, all his debts canceled.
Whoa.
Wow.
Line of credit cheese.
That was him.
As long as that boy stays on that stage.
Good luck.
Oh my goodness.
Oh. You know, I don't think she'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Say.
He loved his audience.
Really was the king.
Took a lot out of him.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Oh boy.
Such a fine show.
You were incredible. You were everything.
Thank you, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley.
Lord have mercy.
The crazy thing is, countries are 100 times more dangerous.
Am I the only one who ever thinks about Elvis's security?
Oh, he's an actor.
Those guys turned out to be some overexcited fans from Peru, but the death threats were real. the girls. What has happened to law and order in this country? Hippies and radicals.
I always love his capes. Oh my god!
And again.
Mm-hmm. Third year.
And again. Satellite concert.
Wow, huh?
1.5 billion people in one night for a single artist. He was addicted to the love he felt from you on stage. Ordinary love just didn't compare.
Saying they killed Elvis Presley.
What did you say?
Nothing, baby.
Crap!
Oh my god.
About what happens on the road.
The girls. You think I give a shit about the girls that you sneak in through the side door? No, I couldn't care less about whoever it is you sneak through the side door. What I want is a husband. I am your wife. I am your wife. And Lisa is your daughter. She needs a father.
I am her father. You still love me?
Will you come to Mississippi and sing with us, Mr. Presley? Well, B.B. King will be there.
There never was a Colonel Tom Parker.
What are you talking about, Jay? What can you do for him, Dr. Nick?
Oh. Oh, Dad.
Come
Injection. I have no idea.
Thank you.
Now he's gonna ask the house lights to be brought up.
Is my so-called manager, Colonel Tom Parker. There he is. That he has abducted me. And he has locked me in this golden cage to keep me here forever. Because Colonel's got some big debts, baby. A beautiful daughter, and I'm gonna fly away. Oh, security. Security. Bam, making the bam. Security. 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 Fire!
Well, he wasn't honest
Colonel
with
Tom
them.
Parker, I wish it to be known that Dr. Nick's services are no longer required. Gasoline for the first trip to the hayride. $1.25. Unrecouped promotional costs.
From the
pertaining to
hayride?
souvenir
All the way
cases,
from back then?
$100.
Not taking it back!
With or without you?
Oh, come on.
To get out of our contract,
You goddamn right I want out.
well, I will personally loan you the money that you owe to Jamboree Attractions.
Yeah, you still have your claws in.
Yes, I have lived from you too. But the difference is you have also lived from me. We have supported each other because we shared a dream.
Glancing back, hoping it
It is forever
wasn't back.
just beyond our reach.
Is your heart
He's still there.
filled with pain?
I won't try. I won't try and fix this. You know.
Send up Dr. Nick.
Oh my god.
Honey, there's this place in San Diego that you can go to rest, to heal.
I never made the classic film that I could be proud of.
What about A Star Is Born? Please go. For Lisa. If you're dreaming, do it, baby.
It's really sad.
Yes.
I love that how they transition it to the music like that.
Yeah.
lives his whole life on the wing.
Good evening. Elvis Presley died today. He was 42. Apparently it was a heart attack. He was found at his home in Memphis.
What's killed my boy? Them doctors say it was his heart. Others, the pills.
And injections.
You know, a few weeks before he died, I saw him sing for the very last time. He could barely stand up with all his heart and soul.
How you like it so far?
I'll be coming home. Wait for me.
So I'll keep singing a song.
Wow.
Jeez.
It's so sad too.
It is sad, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is so freaking incredible. Yeah, that was wonderfully done.
Yeah, it was very
It
good.
was. It was differently told, you know.
Yeah.
In the eyes through Parker.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I know all of us were looking forward to this.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, this was good. So what'd you think?
That was very good.
I loved
That
it.
was very good.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it, and I
So-
loved how it showed. I mean, you know, basically you knew that it started in church. He
It sure
started,
did.
Mm-hmm.
you know, his
Definitely.
career, just the true love of gospel music.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think it was great to see such a detailed story of his life, because I know many of us know the story of Elvis Presley, but in great detail like this, I didn't know this much,
No, I
you
didn't
know.
either.
Yeah, the
Yes,
business end of
definitely.
it. Yeah.
The business end, and I know you guys know a whole lot more about Elvis Presley. Of course, Mom, you grew up with him, and you know, he was a big inspiration, or just wonderful. You're a big fan of his, you know.
She is.
I know he liked to wiggle, jokingly, but I didn't realize to that extreme, because I always see jokes about it, and I never really watched any videos of him. Like, I've seen some, yes, in passing, but, and I'm not trying to insult, because I know he's a fabulous artist. He was so talented, but just to that extreme where he
They
was
call
like,
him Elvis the Pelvis, don't
yeah,
That's right.
yeah, and obviously so. Yeah, I could definitely see why. I'm
Yeah.
very
Yes.
energetic with that.
Yeah.
And I knew that the Colonel had, you know, well, he was the manager, but he really pushed him to do things that, you know, Elvis, as we see here, he really wanted to be a great actor.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, I was always brought up that he wasn't a good actor. The movies were cheesy, you know, and they really milked his songs into movies. That's how I was, you know, thought, you know, when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And it did seem like he milked it for everything, you know, with, you know, every merchandise you can think of to movies, to Christmas shows. Putting
even
out
people hating him,
Christmas
like even
sweater.
the hate.
Even the hate,
Yeah.
he wanted
Wow.
to profit from it.
No, something wrong. His poor mother, yeah, I felt bad. for
Right.
her.
Yeah, he was very close to her.
Right,
I
and
felt
she
bad
was
for
an
him
alcoholic.
when she died. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was.
And he was a very caring son too. Like, this was his passion, but he
His
really
mom
cared
was
for his
everything.
parents. Yeah, and he wanted to take care of them. And
Right.
I love the ending credits. Right now, we just have like these graphics showing of like different,
Yes.
Yeah.
you know, flashy items.
Oh,
And,
yes.
Right.
yeah, he was all about that.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure is.
And
he and B.B. King were very good friends.
I
Yeah,
never knew
that was
that.
good to
That
see
was
that.
amazing.
Me
I
too.
loved
very
it.
close.
Yes.
I love how he was influenced as a child, where like he was into gospel and soul music, and you know,
R&B,
he really knew how to
yeah.
feel it, and he was judged. I mean, that sucks. He was judged
That's how
about
it was.
using that kind of music, because like he was a white man, and it was just ridiculous, and for him to have that kind of respect and he loved that kind of music, it's great that he could actually use their songs, like use those singers' songs and, make them popular. But, I'm glad he had the respect at least. But it's so sad that these wonderful singers who originally came up with these songs because of the color of their skin, were never going to be successful or had a very slim chance of being successful and frowned upon.
It's a shame.
Richard, he became very successful in his own right.
Yeah.
But he used his music as well and others. But he did it in a respectful way. And when his chips were down and when he couldn't wiggle anymore and he had to be more on the straight and narrow and Family Guy, and his numbers tanked because no one wants to see that new Elvis. They want the old Elvis.
Yeah.
And when
really
he turned
is.
to BB and went downtown and went to the cafe and went to see other artists, then he knew, I have to be my own person. I have to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
I love the energy and passion that went into it. Like seeing the other singers singing soul music and stuff, and they were just like full on emotionally into it with their body and soul, and that's how he gets, that movement down, like that's his true feeling and passion coming out. And to see that even with certain thrusts, and I know it was very sexual too, but he was just living in the moment and even being able to like thrust and be on his toes and balance for a little bit, like that was crazy. Like that takes a lot of balance and very different, especially for that time. I mean, I think it's great that he was expressing who he was, and at this time, like that was something very new, and
it was extremely new. Everyone wore suits when they sang, and they were very, proper. And there was like, a band of like 2 or 3 guys. It was very, on the straight and narrow to have someone come out like this.
Mm-hmm. And it was very inappropriate for the time, but it shows that how society, like they were trying to control everything, like you're supposed to be only this certain way, that you can't break that because it causes all these bad like influences to happen. And it was pretty extreme what he did, but that's who he was.
And for the time period, it was extreme.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? One girl's scream led to another, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. And I always feel like the bands were always extreme, but to see it here and kind of live through it, and how like they're first like, and they can't hold it in.
They can't.
They're like climbing on stage, like crawling onto the stage,
throwing
underwear, throwing their underwear. I mean, he had amazing, loyal, extreme fans.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I was surprised they didn't show about Ed Sullivan's show too, about him. So you can't do any of that shaking and anything else like that.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised they didn't show that.
No, they showed some other shows.
Yeah, they were showing other ones, like saying like
but Ed Sullivan's show that was huge,
was a big thing.
Because he was very influential. I mean, he had the Stones on for the first time, Jim Morrison. I mean, he was very instrumental in showing new talent that became so famous.
I'm sure did.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for Priscilla Presley too.
Yeah, I mean she
was his rock, but she couldn't take it anymore, and she felt that it was, better to leave as it was with Lisa.
For that.
Yeah,
it's a shame, but
it is a shame, and I kind of I didn't know a lot of that history, but I knew it didn't end well for them. But to see in this story, I think all the facts are probably close to being accurate. That it seems like they really did love each other until the end, and they just had their problems, and he was truly loved. He had his own love for music, and his fans just truly loved him. And he just had to share the love, and it's just
he sure did.
And his wife really understood it for a while, and it was so hard for her.
And it was too much. It's one thing for the infidelity, but then when the pills came, he was really
that was the biggest thing.
Very. I do remember that.
Yeah, and for anyone, that's extremely scary and very tragic. But we know that he's going to die from that, so it's so sad, because you're like, there's no way you can correct that. You're going down this path, and his wife was so worried about him, but there was no correcting it.
No, it wasn't.
There wasn't, and I kind of feel bad that his father was his business manager.
I know.
I don't think that was very good, because he
he was kind of forced
into compliant
it.
to whatever the colonel said.
That's
he
right.
wouldn't even be,
Yeah.
step up to the plate. I felt in this movie anyway that he was a little weak in that, and he should have been on top. He should have been like protecting his son even more so.
Yeah.
To possible threats, even right under your nose with the colonel there. I'm like, wait a second, just double check everything. But he just he just lost his wife too, and he was just wanted to be with his son no matter what. And I think it was more of an emotional ride for him
And the
than
colonel took advantage of
protecting.
that.
Yeah.
Big time.
Big time is right.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Vernon,
Yeah.
he really loved his son, absolutely. But it's just, thank you very much. But now we're just watching the credits still. But yeah, like I did feel bad for him because he wasn't a professional in that. He was kind of pushed into doing that because the colonel said this is a good idea. That way you have full control. You're involved in this too, so you have a hearsay. And even though he's been in this now for a while, he was still never really trained. He was just kind of on a whim, learning as he went. And the colonel always had, he was kind of running the show there.
Big time. And he was really a good con artist. I mean, he did all those snow jobs. I mean, he did a phenomenal
I love the
job
snow
marketing.
jobs. It's so funny. Yeah, he did.
He was phenomenal. He marketed Elvis to the extreme.
That's right.
And unfortunately, he had a gambling problem, and that was his addiction.
And he had like 50% of his finances or whatever. Like
and he
got
still
so
owed
much money.
so much. Elvis owed all that money to him. I would have disputed that. Elvis wanted to go on tour so bad internationally, and he was just, his hands were tied with that.
Yeah, and even, just because Elvis, I know he's smart, but he doesn't know the whole financial side of it.
He's
so
spending
the
money like
just
crazy.
knows how to manipulate, and even though like he was so successful, and they are alike in his own words, in a way, he really knew how to manipulate him to still get what he wanted. So even if he did say, screw it, let him sue me, like he probably would lose because he doesn't even like keep track of any of that
Doesn't
stuff.
keep everything. He gave too much control to the colonel, and everyone did. And his friends were kind of trying to corral him to another, way of performing, but he wouldn't. He would always go to the colonel. I think, he always wants to be loved, and he wanted the colonel's love as well.
Yeah, and he knew how to talk to him to be like, hey, we can make more money, and you can be more successful, and more your fans can see you for you. And he would say the right things to him, and it was true. Like he did really help him out and himself. But yeah, I mean, this was an incredible story, an incredible journey of this talented man.
Yes.
And
he was always very generous.
I was going to bring that
and
up.
Kisses?
And that was,
no, I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm kidding. I'm just totally
but
kidding.
just buying anything
Anything
his
for
friends
anybody,
wanted.
friends.
He was very, very generous.
Like
I
right away,
remember
Cadillacs for
hearing
his
that.
parents.
Oh yeah, and his friends, like all his friends, he bought all those Cadillacs.
Yeah, I know. They had a lineup,
right?
That's why his money went down and down.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I thought in this movie, with him having an addiction to pills, that he was going to be a lot more aggressive. I wasn't sure, but even though he did have his moments, like he didn't go like a verbally abusive route. Like he just had his own.
Yeah, because I remember seeing, like, I don't know if it was an old movie or something, a clip on him, something on him and his wife, and how it was more abusive on that end.
Okay, so maybe they didn't show
more
that.
verbally, and more of the drinking and the pills,
Yeah, that's
and more of
bad.
the marriage kind of turmoil, and the infidelity was more in your face. But this was a good showing of like the business end of it.
That's
and how
right,
he was
gosh.
trapped into Las Vegas.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yes.
and to actually do that at that last big show when he was like, "You're fired," and he's just like calling him out. I mean, he almost died, and Tom Parker's just like, we have to get that man on stage, and he's witnessing that. And I think that was the final straw of like, you don't even give a crap about
No,
him at
that's
all.
right.
That's
right.
And even his father, like,
exactly.
That's
That's
what
what I mean by
terrible
he
too.
was weaker, and
Wow, that's
and just all eyes on you. Like, you're gonna screw everything up if you worry more about your son's health than everything else. And
you
it's
should
just bad.
You shouldn't worry about your son. That's it.
I know, and
Yeah.
he's just under so much
Yeah,
pressure. He
come
doesn't
on.
know what he's doing, and
And I think his wife, Elvis's mom, was the anchor, and she
Yeah, she
was the
was,
strong
right.
one, and
Yeah.
she pulled Elvis together, but then after Mom died, the Colonel did take Mom's role, and you come to me, I'll save you. You come to me, I'll take care of you, kind of role, and he embraced it, and his father let him.
Yeah.
It's a very sad. I mean, he died at 42 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he looked so much older from what I remember the old,
a lot
movie
heavier
pictures
and everything
of.
else. He was all bloated.
Yeah.
That was him singing at the end, too.
Yeah. I have to really give credit to the casting. You know, all the actors in this were just incredible. I mean, they really fit the characters. Real life characters, you know what I mean? But even Elvis was, again, you guys would know more, but I think he looks really close to.
I think he really looked good.
His lips and his eyes, the way he just...
And talking.
And how he just stood.
That's right. The other impersonators I never agreed with because they never looked like Elvis.
They were looked in like they're not Elvis, right, Mom? They're not the true Elvis. That's right. I'm sure they're entertaining too, though, because there's many.
Well,
right?
there's many, but
of
some of them, they should have been Elvis impersonators.
And some people are just huge fans, you know, and they just want to be very
Definitely.
touched, you know.
Yeah, but, you know.
And that was always a cool thing with Elvis, just watching him in this movie alone, like how much energy he would put into his movements and like you can tell his whole soul was out there, like just living every lyric, you know, like him sweating and just to his max capacity, giving it his all. And you know, it was so cool to see that.
It's all about the gospel music when he first, you know, when he was young.
Yeah, it's just in his soul, and he just has to.
I love seeing that. You know, because I'd be like, man, I'd pass out, you know, and even when you're physically in shape, you know, it's
and you're wearing those heavy, you know, leather suits and all that.
Yeah, I like that too. You see him changing
Very
outfits
flashy.
and even
with
going to
capes.
the suits with the tails, and that was like not his style, and how that brought him down, and seeing all those challenges, like that was not him, but politically, like no one liked his, well, not no one, but like, you know, as far as politics went, like people frowned upon it. And his fans really loved him so much, so he had to break that bubble.
And then from there, it went into the '60s, you know, and Beatlemania and all that.
Yeah,
so it just went okay. You know, it's out the window. Music is a huge movement.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So he started really a huge movement on that respect, you know.
Yeah. So certain events that happen in this, of course, like through history, I'm sure like there's a lot of things that you recall, Mom, watching this.
Kennedy dying, assassinated.
Yeah, and Martin Luther King Jr. I mean, that really hit him hard.
Oh my God.
And he wanted to watch the events of Robert Kennedy's death, especially when the Colonel shut it off.
I know,
get
that
back
was
to
such
work.
a slap in the face. Like,
You know,
crap, this is such a big deal.
In that moment, when he shut it off, and Elvis turned that whole special, and it turned into a magnificent show. Because he put more of his soul in it. It wasn't as flashy. I mean, yes, it had the Christmas music, and it didn't have the you know, the singers running around, and, you know, more.
That was really good, though.
Yeah, but it was his own, and it became, you know, golden.
Yeah,
sure was.
You got to take risks sometimes, and they don't always work out well. But in his case, I mean, there were some fumbles, but yeah, he actually did very, very well. I mean, heck yeah, he's like number one, like in all history. It's pretty incredible. Yeah. Wow, all the steps you have to go through and chances they have to take.
And Tom Hanks was great.
Oh my goodness,
as the Colonel.
I mean, even that, you know, suit that he was in to make him look a lot heavier as well, like just to match Tom Parker, like that was really well done. And again, the casting was wonderful. I love Tom Hanks anyways. Like I think he's a freaking amazing actor. But yeah, I think everything about this film was very good.
Very good. Thumbs up.
It was.
Like that.
Yeah. And, you know, we watched things for the first time on our channel, and with this one I felt like it was a documentary, you know, where we didn't have as many extreme reactions, because it's not like we're watching some, you know, like we're watching about someone's life, and we know what to expect to a certain extent, so it's not like we're sad and stuff, but we're subtle, you know, which I think there's no problem in that, but I just noticed that we were quieter in this, and you know, makes for a good movie too when you're quiet. And scary things happen, we scream and flail and all that, but we have a lot of that in our channel if you're not familiar with us.
Jump scares.
Oh, you know, and it cracks me up because you all are great. Like you, Kim, are awesome. But it does crack me up when, when there's scary things, we jump. But sometimes when we have a quiet scene that just goes to a loud ambient noise scene, she'll jump, sound like the water or something, like it'll just be quiet. The next scene, there's like a water with a boat humming, like with the engine on, and you're like, hey, it's like a jump scare, and it just cracks me up. But we had none of that in this one.
No.
Yeah. So, very good movie.
Yeah, it was
very
great.
Good.
I think they still even have an Elvis wedding chapel. A friend of mine got married in that.
I think
they still have an Elvis. They have an Elvis impersonation.
Las Vegas,
a place you can go and see Elvis impersonators.
I'm sure,
in Las Vegas.
Las Vegas,
And then there's Graceland. I've never been there.
No,
but that's
either.
a huge
add it to my list.
Tourist place to go to in Memphis.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
And then Zombieland, I think.
That's right.
Woody's character, he liked Elvis.
He's
a big fan. I love it. And so Elvis was Austin Butler, and I thought he was a very good Elvis.
He was.
Yes, very good.
I thought that was amazing. So
amazing.
Great job. Thank you guys for requesting this.
Thank you.
Right when we heard Elvis, this new movie was coming out this year. I knew
Oh yeah,
I'm a
Mom
huge
was
fan.
Sign me up.
And we have to find all your other records now of Elvis, and we have to find your autograph that you have somewhere stored safely in the house. It's a mystery. It's around somewhere safe. I know you have a lot of special spots in the house.
It's very safe somewhere.
Yes, and please let us know what you thought of this film. If you want to check out our full reactions, full uncut reactions, you can do that in the links below. And anything you want to add?
No, it was just a wonderful picture.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
It's really good.
Good to relive the good times watching Elvis on TV.
Yes.
Right?
That's right.
So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you very soon as always. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's right.
I'm terrible.